Hello guys, it is Cuteness Minecraft here, and today I'm gonna be continuing the starter trio ranking. So last video I mostly went into this, so I'm just gonna summarize it. I'm gonna be going through each generation, ranking the starters individually from 1 through 10. And at the end, I'm gonna add them all up and then average them, and that's their final ranking. After we finish all of them, I'll do a sort of analysis, basically. And enjoy the music. So, last time we finished in Gen 4, so we're going to be starting in Gen 5. Now, the Gen 5 opinions, the starter opinions of Gen 5 seem to be very negative. I don't see a lot of good opinions about Gen 5 starters. I think people tend to like Snivy and just despise the others. But, speaking of which, let's start with Snivy, who gets an 8. Its evolutions, I can't say the same. The main reason Snivy gets an A and its evolutions don't is because Ash's Snivy simply didn't evolve in the anime. And I was honestly fine with it not evolving. It's not something that makes me feel particularly upset. I actually didn't care that it didn't evolve. And in fact, at this point, I was used to Ash not evolving his Pokemon. It's not something that ever personally affected me. Why did I care? But just its personality in the anime was so likable. Its rivalry with Emolga was nice. The way it sort of watched over a lot of the Pokemon as well. And how it performed in the episode where they all cross-dressed and got revenge for people calling Emolga not cute. Oh god, was that a beautiful episode. That was among my favorite of Snivy's performances. The argument it got into with Emolga in Team Rocket's new recruit, I coined it the Pokemon version of The Bachelor. I loved that one too. Snivy just had so many beautiful moments. Also, it could definitely hold its own in battle, obviously being the main attract user. If only Ash remembered that it was female. Also, I mentioned last episode the whole Tepig arc and how Snivy got involved. But, yeah. I really liked that, Snivy got involved. Because it certainly it developed more than one character, which, in my opinion, is just really good. Moving on to its evolutions, I don't dislike them. The only reason I don't like them as much as Snivy is simply because Ash didn't have one in the anime. So, yeah. It's not something that's too important, it's just, Servine gets a 6, mostly because it's, also the forgettable middle evolution. Even if Trip did have one, it wasn't as entertaining. But speaking of Trip, Superior, who I'm giving a 7. I think Superior is really nice and elegant, and those are arms. Those are arms right there, guys. Stop taunting it for not having arms. It has arms. Stop taunting for having stubs for arms. I like Superior. I enjoyed using Contrary Superior the one time I did a theme team with it. And I did use it in my UU team back in Gen 7 as well. So it wouldn't be the only time. That I used Superior. Sorry. So, yeah, it's at 7 overall. I like it more than Servine because it's more regal, but it's just, eh. Sorry. Now we get to Tepig. So, the Tepig line. I actually used a Tepig in my Generation 5 playthrough, so that already gives it a slight advantage, I feel like. But, also, I just think the line is much better than people give it credit for. Just gonna seem a little to some people, but whatever. Tepig, I found it really cute. Enough so that I can give it an 8. Pignite, although a lot of people don't like it, I think it's nice. The sprite doesn't really do it justice, because I do kind of prefer it in the anime when it's not hunched over. But it still is nice in the sprite, if you ask me. And I do like it. I think it's nice, plump, kind of cute in the end. A lot of people don't like the wrestling outfit it wears, but I never personally had a problem with that. I like plump Pokemon as well. Also, it's Arc in the anime, obviously. Gives it an extra boost. As for Emboar, I really like it. I like that it's big, bulky. It feels like a real fighting type to me. I like the fire chin. I think it's nice. Especially has the Bulbous. It was really fun to use, and I think it did really well. So much that I actually like it and consider it my favorite Unova starter. I think just its whole getup is really nice, and I'm okay with it being a very thick fire pig. I don't have a problem with that. Also, it does have a really nice shiny, which is typical blue fire, but it's blue fire that really mixes well with his body, so it's not kind of boringish like Ponyta. So, they all get 8s, in my opinion. Then we move on to Oshawott. This is where everything starts to fall apart. Oh god. Oh, Oshawott. Oshawott's really cute. I love it. I loved it in the anime. It was really adorable in the anime. I like otters in general, so I guess this is one of the reasons. But, also, I just found its personality really enjoyable in the anime. Also, the way it drank that honey soda in that one Decalore Islands episode was adorable. I just liked its personality. I found it really adorable, and it always seemed to be a combination of cute and humor, and you know. I think it did the cute part very well, and that's honestly all I care about. So, yeah. I just think it's really well done. Now I move on to Dewott, and I don't like this one as much. I just don't. I don't know why, but the main reason I just don't like it as much is simply just the dress. Most of it's the dress. It's mostly because, I don't know, I feel like the dress, theoretically speaking, when you're wielding 2 Scalchops, would get in the way, and it would be a bit of an issue. And, I don't know, it didn't help that it was associated in just areas I didn't like, such as, that one person's Dewott in the Decalore Islands episode, the Scalchop thing, and it just being a total douche. The one time Silent fought a Dewott and the whole thing was bargaining whether or not Ash kept all his Pokemon or not, it also just wasn't an enjoyable experience. Maybe it just wasn't good in the anime, but I don't really like it. It's not even as cute. But it's not so much that I'd debunk it under a 5. I'd keep it at 5, because it is kind of cute, which sort of redeems it. And then Samurott happened. Alright. Riddle me this, Game Freak. Why would you make a Pokemon that wields swords as its weapons with its hands and then make it a quadruped, much less an aquatic quadruped? How is this thing gonna run? When it's on Pokemon such as Zacian, or even, like, Keldeo, who's in the same generation and does the gimmick way better. At least it makes sense, because the sword is either in the creature's mouth, or the sword is, in Keldeo's case, the horn. But Samurott, it wields it with its hands still. Can you imagine how awkward it would be running? Oh, not to mention, those things are its arms, so it's actually going to be running with 3 legs. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't. Also, it is a samurai and not a fighting type, which definitely doesn't help, but I understand why, because Embor was the intended fighting type. But I just think, especially when it's in the same generation where Keldeo exists, which is just the whole trope of swordsmen done so much better, even if it's not a samurai. I did use one in a black and white playthrough, so I grew slightly attached, but not so much that it's willing to redeem it. I'm still giving it a 4. And in the end, sorry, it ends up with... and it ends up bringing Unova down a bit. But when you add everything up, 62 divided by 9 is actually 6.9, so congratulations, guys. You all contributed to a beautiful sort of 69. Anyway, with that over, let's move on to Kalos. So, welcome back to Kalos. As you saw by the message, yeah, they're not in Pogo, so we're just gonna use internet photos. As for Gen 8, I'm just gonna grab the footage straight from my Switch, but I'd rather not whip out my DS for the Gen 6 and 7 starters, since they are, unfortunately, since even if the Gen 7 starters are technically in Alola, they're not in the Alola Dexes. They're not in the... are technically in Galar, they're not in the Galar Dex, so I can't pull from that, which is important. So anyway, let's start with Generation 6. Now, Kalos is an interesting one. I see a lot of people tend to really like Greninja and just feel about the other two. In fact, Chestnut was not very popular, so much that it was one of 2 starter lines to not get a single Pokemon from its line in the top 30 in the 2020 Pokemon popularity poll. I think the other one was Tepig, if I recall. But although saying that, technically, Fennekin did manage to get all 3 Pokemon from its line in, which was a big surprise to me. But, you know, I don't know how anything works anymore. Let's just get started. Chespin. It's cute. I really like it. I think it's really cute. That's basically what I was going for. I've never used one. It's really cute. I liked its personality in the anime. It was somewhat comedic, and I did enjoy its food issues, I guess. 7 out of 10, simply because I have not used it. So I only really like it. I don't, love it. Enjoy the plug off, right? And you does. Next up, we have Quilladin. I just swiped it as if this was Pogo. Alright. Who designed this thing? Why is it fat? Why did they take Chespin and make it fat? Oh my god. Alright. First of all, they took Chespin's adorable design and the fact that it has an entire body out of the leaf suit and just took a balloon and stuffed it in a leaf suit. I like balloons, normally, not in this case. It just looks ugly. It looks really ugly and awkward looking because it looks as if it's still trying to fit in that thing but it's not because it's too fat and its head is facing out. You're doing a horrible job fitting into that sleeping bag. Not to mention the weird tuft of hair. I don't understand why that's even there. In fact, it's not even on Chespin. I mean, I suppose it is on Chespin. But for some reason, they decided to just keep that. I don't know what they were thinking, but I don't know. The weird nose isn't doing it any favors. It's the only part of its line that even has that, and I don't know why. Its ears are honestly the best part of its design, simply just because it's so ugly. In fact, you probably recall me saying Empoleon is my least favorite final of all starter. The main reason I said that is because there is a different starter that isn't a final of all starter. That is an issue to me. And it's this one. Quilladin is so bad in my opinion. It is my least favorite starter, period. And as my least favorite starter, congratulations. You were the only Pokemon on this list to earn a 1. Chestnut. Alright. You know what? Compared to Quilladin, Chestnut is a huge improvement. Like, huge. I don't know. Alright. Let's talk about Chestnut, who is a noticeably better Pokemon. Now, I think Chestnut is a huge improvement from Quilladin. I don't know how to feel about its, like, design choice and it being over-punched. I gave it a 5. Simply because I felt like it was just, it's an alright Pokemon. It's not perfect. I do like that it uses its arms to create a spiky shield. I think that's a really neat concept. It's definitely an upgrade from Quilladin. I would have preferred that it be the color of its shiny, though, because it's kind of odd that they just kind of took the brown off, and I don't know why they did that. And I get that it's supposed to be a Chestnut, and that's probably why it's white, but I don't know. I preferred the design that we got with Chespin, and I feel like it would have fit better on Chestnut. Although I can appreciate that this thing is much better than Quilladin. You, sir, get a 5. Are you proud of yourself? You should be. You made your middle evolution slightly more bearable. I mean, by slightly, I mean it doesn't matter, because it's still my least favorite. Also, I just want to point out, when I did the writing for all the ratings, and I didn't notice this until I looked it over, I misspelled Chespin and wrote Chessin. I never was the best speller. Anyway, let's get to a better lineup. I mean, I suppose that works too, but I'd really prefer the zoom in. Fennekin. The Fennekin line is pretty solid, honestly. I decided to give them all 7s except for Braixen, but I'll get to that later. I think Fennekin is a pretty solid first stage start. It's a somewhat cute fox, enough for me to say it's not bad. I don't feel neutrally towards it. I like it. I did kind of like its personality in the anime. I liked Serena's Fennekin. That's it. That's basically the entire entry. There isn't much else to say. I spent 8 minutes talking about Chespin. Braixen. I love Braixen. Not so much to give it a 9, but I love it. Why? Now, it would have been a 7, but one thing makes it an 8. Pokken Tournament. I love that they gave Braixen the witch feel, and they gave it the role of the witch. I love that it rides around on its stick as if it's a broomstick. I love the sort of noises it makes when it does that. I love just everything about Braixen in Pokken Tournament. I love it. It's It's just so well done. Some people complain about the stick in the tail, but that's the only logical place to store friction. Where else are you gonna put it? Also, I just like wands in general, and people who know me know this. It's part of the reason I main Rosalina in Smash. Yeah, and I enjoyed Braixen in the anime. One of my personal favorites, I feel like, was the episode where Braixen's stick actually breaks, and it's like the sentimental value of the object. And I think it does really hold a nice message about, like, holding on to things in the past. But also how important how important specific items can be to you. And I just really liked it. Also, the fact that it learned Fire Blast in that episode was really nice. Next, we have Delphox. Now, you're probably expecting me to wail on Delphox and hate it, except you're not, because I already said that the entire line gets a 7. I like Delphox. I think it's a pretty decent Pokemon. I never really had a problem with it. The ear hair is something that's heavily criticized, but it doesn't bother me too much. The dress is also something that's criticized, but that doesn't bother me either. In fact, I actually really like the dress. Unlike Dewott, it actually makes sense considering Delphox is supposed to be a mage/witch. And I think it was just really well done. And Delphox is a beauty, if you ask me. Also, like I said, I like wands. I also like that the wand is stored in its sleeve. I think that's a really nice touch. And I think it's a really nice place to keep a wand. And if you paid attention to one of its Pokedex entry in the anime, apparently it can see the future in the fire on its stick, which is an ability I thought was really cool. So, yeah. I kind of wish that, Serena's Braixen evolved, but I understand why they didn't evolve it. I personally feel like they didn't evolve it because it's supposed to show that Serena was, close to Arya and very similar to Arya, which was hinted at multiple times, especially, like, during the Grand Festival, or whatever it was called, where, you know, Serena hurt her arm and didn't want to stop till it was over, which is a line that the person taking care of her recognized on Arya. And I understand that, yeah, it's basically supposed to be like, she's similar to Arya, because they both have the same starter, but she still has very far to go, as shown by the whole evolution difference. That's how I interpret it. Many people say that even the devs know that, Delphox isn't a good Pokemon. But, no. No, guys. It's probably not. Alright, I'm gonna try and be quick with the remaining entries, because we're almost at 30 minutes. And oh god. Froakie. The Froakie line is simply adorable. I decided to give them all 8s, except Greninja, who I gave a 9. Why? Because reasons I'll get to later. Froakie and Frogadier are just cute, and I enjoy them as Pokemon. I like them in general. I think they were nice in the anime. Again, you're seeing a common theme here. I think they definitely served their purposes. Now, as for why I think Greninja is better, multiple reasons. One, I like the scarf. I think it's a nice touch. I think it makes Greninja look more sleek. I feel like sticky bubbles would kind of get in the way. And there are other reasons. I liked its arc in the anime. I did like Ash Greninja. I enjoyed using a Greninja in Gen 7 competitive. Yes, I used an Ash Greninja. I didn't use Protean. What a surprise. I love it shiny, because it does really fit the ninja aesthetic of it wearing black, and the red is supposed to represent, I'm guessing, blood. Which I can really appreciate. The thing that I feel like really does it, and one of the main reasons I put it in 9, is, this is a little known fact, because I haven't really said much of it, but at one point, Greninja was actually my favorite Pokemon. Yeah. Why? Well, because of Smash Bros. I actually used to main Greninja simply because I genuinely wanted to, and when I did that, I happened to. Sorry. Yeah. When I did that, I wanted to beat Classic on 9.0, and as a result, I did. After a lot of grinding, I did. It took a while, but I finally beat 9.0 on Classic with Greninja. Now, Greninja was the first character I had beat 9.0 with. I didn't even beat it with Yoshi, who was my first main. And as a result, I feel like that really made me like the Pokemon. But eventually, I fell out of Smash a bit, and I just stopped playing it for a while, so that's probably what restored Mudkip to favorite Pokemon status. But yeah, Greninja was at one point my favorite Pokemon, mostly because of Smash Bros., and as a result, I think it's definitely worthy of a 9. So when you add all the Kalos Pokemon together, you get 60, which divided by 9 is 6.7, sorry. Not as good as Unova. Collagen definitely brought it down, needless to say, but still good. Alright, Rowlet. Let's talk about Gen 7. Opinions of Gen 7 that I've seen, people really like Rowlet, and everyone feels really controversial about the other two. Speaking of Rowlet, let's get into Rowlet. Yeah, so how do I feel overall about Rowlet? The Rowlet line in general, unfortunately, kind of falls flat. Rowlet itself, though, great Pokemon. Really cute, nice rotund boy, fun in the anime. I like how it took the father figure of Meltan, even though that trope had already been done in X and Y, but I personally don't have a problem with that overall. You know what? I think it was done fairly well. Not enough to boost it to an 8, though. I'd still say it's a 7, because it doesn't really do much until the end. Until then, it's just comedic relief. But it is adorable. As for Dartrix and Decidueye, they're less eh. I'm sorry, but the only good thing to me about Dartrix is its cry. That's literally it. Yeah, that is the only thing that I like about Dartrix. It's just an Pokemon. Sorry. So as a result, I'm just gonna give it a 5. I don't dislike it. Don't like it either. Then there's Decidueye. Now I know a lot of people like Decidueye. I'm choosing to give it a 6. For 2 reasons. Well, not. I don't dislike it, but I do only sort of like it. I think it's nice that it uses its feathers as arrows and its like little strings as a bow, and its wing as the other part of the bow, and I think that's really nice. It's just I've rarely used one. I've literally only used one once, and it just didn't do much. Also, I think I just prefer the other two. It's more of just I like it, and the positive experience in this case would be that Wonderlock that I used it in, which is what I was referring to, if you didn't know. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my Ultra Sun Wonderlock. Shameless plug. Alright, now the Litten line. So, the Litten line, I gave them all 9s. Litten, I feel like, is my third. The Litten line overall, Incineroar, is my third favorite fully evolved starter, only after Greninja and Swampert. Which was kind of obvious, considering both of them at one point were technically my favorite Pokemon. Litten, I just find cute, and I like that it's kind of intimidating. I also like that it's a black cat, because I feel like bad luck. I did enjoy its arc in the anime. It was fun. I think it's better than most of the abandonment arcs we got, because rather than dealing with abandonment, it had to deal with loss, which is a whole different story. And I feel like that's just an important thing that I think it was nice that they covered in the first place. So, yeah. As for Torracat, it gets a 9 simply because it's a nice middle evolution, mainly because Ash had a Torracat for a really long time. That's the main reason, anyway. I think it's really nice and intimidating looking. I like that its legs are, like, really bulky, because it helps transition into Incineroar when we get all the bulk. And I feel like they did a good job. I really like the long claws and the fire bell, and apparently that bell rings, and I love that. I love ringing bells. I think it's just a nice Pokemon. I love Dashes. I love him. Next up, we have Incineroar. Why do I like Incineroar so much? Well, it's just... First of all, this is gonna sound controversial, but I actually find it kind of cute. I just like cats, so that's probably the reason why. Also, I used one twice, so out of all of the Alola starters, I definitely have the most attachment to it overall, so that probably is definitely considered in it. Now, I haven't faced many Incineroars in competitive, so I don't really have that grudge, and I do plan to use one day. Actually, I plan to use Torracat until Series 6 ends, when I can use Incineroar again. I just like it as a Pokemon, and especially its Pokemon and me interactions. They're really cute, and also, it's a heal. I'm not into wrestling, but it sounds nice. Even if it doesn't fight an injured foe, which is the exact opposite of what a heal does, although I respect the fairness. As a Libra, I can respect the fairness. Oh my god. Also, I love that all of the, like, sort of quote-unquote memes that came out when Incineroar first came out, and you used Flamethrower or Ember for the first time, and it came from there. And everyone misinterpreted it as the crotch. That was such a terrible idea, but it was really funny. So, yeah. Now, we go to the Popplio line. I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that. I'd really... Alright. After that tiny blooper, let's get to, Popplio. Now, this is my opinion on Popplio. I like it. Popplio and Brione both get 7s, or Brianna, however the hell you pronounce that. Both get 7s in my book, because I feel like they're both pretty decent. They're alright. I like them, mostly because of Primarina. But, yeah, I like them both. One's cute, one's somewhat elegant. They're both alright, I guess. I kind of enjoyed Lana's in the anime. Oh, speaking of Lana in the anime, Primarina. I don't think we've ever heard a more beautiful singing voice than the one that came from Primarina in the anime. I'm not gonna play it because of copyright reasons, but, that may just be the single best Pokemon cry of all time. Lana's Primarina using Oceanic Operetta was always something I look forward to. That singing voice was so beautiful, and whoever had the vocals to produce that, I have respect for you. I don't know how someone creates something that gorgeous. It's so much that I'm willing to promote the Primarina from a 7 to an 8. Also, I enjoyed doing the Z-move in general, because it's kind of fun to act out. Especially the bow at the end. Now, in total, Alola actually gets 67 points, which if you've been paying attention, divided by 9, is actually 7.4. Which means it tops Owen, which is surprising. Blaziken actually holds Hoenn down enough that Alola's able to get past it with my high opinion of Incineroar and Primarina and my decent opinion of the Rowlet line, since I don't dislike anyone. But next is Generation 8, which I'm going to leave for part 3 because this video is at 34 minutes. Oh god, I didn't expect this to be this long. So yeah, next we're gonna do Gen 8. So that's gonna be it, and the analysis, obviously. Bye.